97.3 Citi FM. It doesn't get any better than that.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 1700 GMT. This is 97.3 Citi FM, and it is my singular honor to announce to you that effective today, Eyewitness News starts at 5 p.m. and runs all the way to 7 p.m. It will be a 2-hour show of great interviews, conversations, analysis, news summaries, and what's more, your views through our WhatsApp and social media platforms will be featuring prominently on a special segment we call Talk Back, where we get to hear your views, and that will be later on the show. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu, your host for Eyewitness News, and I'm here tonight with
Melody Fafak Potife.
Well, this is Eyewitness News from the relevant radio 97.3 Citi FM. Be there as it happens. Coming up over the next 2 hours.
The Council of State is an advisory body to the president, and so they'll take a look at it, and then they will advise the president. And if there are issues, substantial issues that are raised, the president would return the bill to Parliament, indicating exactly what the issues are. And
President John Dramani Mahama speaks on the newly passed anti-LGBTQI+ bill without stating emphatically if he will sign it immediately, as members of his party have suggested. He says we'll be taking advice. We'll be hearing more on what the president is saying on this much controversial bill. Meanwhile, the NPP's Reverend John Ntimfojwo slams the government over what he describes as its hypocritical stance on the matter.
We want the old bill to come. We want the old bill to come. The old bill is what has the deterrence, the teeth to bite.
So that's the cries of Reverend John Ntimfojwo, who is part of the members of parliament who brought this bill in their private capacity as MPs. Meanwhile, one of the lead sponsors and Minister for Communications, Samuel Attah-Mensah, is positive that this is a great bill.
Ntimfojwo and my brothers in the NPP, all their problem is this. NDC has come. They thought we were not going to pass this law. They thought we were going to use it to play politics. And now we've shown that our commitment goes beyond politics. It goes to the protection of the innocence of our children.
Everything you need to know on the newly passed LGBTQI bill here on 97.3 Citi FM Eyewitness News. Also coming up on the show, with just 10 days to the World Cup, we hear from the government of Ghana's announcement about a strategy to sending supporters to the games without spending so much money. We'll have the Minister for Sports here on the show to explain what the strategy really is and how much the taxpayer would be coughing up for the World Cup. And later on Eyewitness News, transport operators clarify that there would be no 20% increase in trotro fares as earlier communicated. So who should we believe? We'll be hearing from the ones who issued a statement last week and those who issued same today. We also have business news on the show later, and that would be coming up here on Eyewitness News, where we'll give you the latest in the world of business from the business desk at 97.3 Citi FM. We are broadcasting around Ghana on a number of affiliate stations, and we appreciate that you are all tuned in across Ghana, listening to Eyewitness News from your various regions as we bring you this relevant news across Ghana. We are on social media. YouTube, look for Citi FM. On Facebook, look for Citi FM and just follow our handle there. If you want to send messages to the show, the WhatsApp number is 0539 986 996. 0539 986 996. On Twitter, which is also now known as X, you can mention my handle at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. Remember to add the hashtag Eyewitness News when you send your messages, and the world will hear you talk back to us on the big stories of the day. I am Umaru Sandamadu once again doing this Fafa Melody, Dr. And I have my colleagues in studio helping me with this discussion as well as interviews. I have a member of parliament sitting before me who will be having a conversation about that controversial bill. But before then, Fetete Jabano is our current affairs editor here at 97.3 Citi FM. He's in studio to give us a quick wrap-up. In case you haven't heard, perhaps you were under a rock or just returned from Papua New Guinea, the LGBTQI bill or the anti-LGBTQI bill has been passed in Parliament last week. There's been lots of controversy since Friday. Fetete Jabano, welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Umaru Sanda.
So we were not expecting that it will be debated and passed on Friday, but we saw the debate start on Thursday.
Yes.
And then suddenly the announcement came through Parliament that the bill has been passed. And it appears a lot has happened since Friday.
Yes, a lot has happened since Friday. As you said, nobody was expecting that on Friday the bill would have been passed. We knew that it was going through the debate processes, and it started Thursday, Friday. We're hoping it continued. But what we didn't think was that by the close of Friday, the bill would be passed. Once the bill was passed, the controversy started. People raising concerns. So it started with the minority leader. This was even before the bill was passed, where he raised concerns with the amendments of over 30 clauses of the 2025 bill as compared to the 2024 bill. According to the minority leader and one of the proponents of this particular bill, Reverend Intim Fodjo, these 30 clauses which were introduced watered down drastically the law which was brought before Parliament in the last Parliament in 2024. So for them, they did not agree with the amendments which took place on Friday, pushed by the majority. Then the second issue was an issue of quorum. The parliamentarians raised concerns. This is the minority side.
Mm-hmm.
This was after the passage of the law, that the members of parliament in the chamber at the time the law was passed could not make a quorum for a decision to be taken.
Okay. But this was not raised during the debate.
This was not raised during the debate. This was subsequent to the decision taken.
Mm-hmm.
Says there was no quorum, the numbers could not make a decision, hence the decision they believe could not stand. After that, you had people like the minister, the majority leader, and the minister for communications also coming out to defend the new amendment. So some of these new amendments, according to them, were amendments which were earlier proposed in the 2024 bill by the then deputy majority leader, who is now minority leader, Alex Afenyo-Markin.
Mm-hmm.
So there are issues of exemptions for professionals. There are issues of exemptions,
media practitioners,
doctors, and all
lawyers.
Other people. These people have been given exemptions. There are issues of promotion.
Okay.
And this was stricter than if you compare the 2024 bill. So in the 2025 bill, it makes it an indirect and direct promotion.
So that is a difficulty.
That's a difficulty.
I think since I have the minority side in the studio, I wouldn't ask you to speak for them. So let's hear from the horse's own mouth.
Before we go there, the president also has spoken. The Speaker of Parliament has also spoken. So let's start with the Speaker of Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament this afternoon at a meeting with some MPs and a delegation to discuss an upcoming event in Parliament, says that he was surprised this decision was passed.
He was surprised that the bill passed.
Exactly. On the day it passed.
Okay.
So he's summoning the leadership of the House to come and answer what exactly took place. Let's take a listen to Speaker Alban Bagben speaking on this particular issue.
Because so he wasn't presiding that day.
He was not in Parliament.
It was Bernard Ahiafo who was presiding. Yes. Okay, let's hear him.
And so he couldn't inherit what was left there, because that's the practice of Parliament, the convention. So it has to come back again to the initiators through the sponsors who have changed anyway. They have changed because some of the sponsors in the last Parliament could not make it up to the ninth Parliament. Then we have to go through the advice from the AG's department and all other stakeholders who were involved. Then we have to get the new parliament, the new members, to understand what all these things are about and to look at the law. And you know the copious instruments and laws on human rights. All over. We have to go through all, from the UN Charter to the African People's Rights and what, all. We have to go through all. Then we have also our development partners who had a lot of contribution to make. We had the United Nations coming in with proposals, some memo and everything. We as Ghanaians also have to dig deeper into our cultures, our customs, our values before we came out with what was passed on Friday. And in fact, when it was passed on Friday, it was even a surprise to me, because I know that we're going to start the consideration of the bill. And that was the instructions I left before I went to attend to other activities. It was Friday, and members wanted to go home early to their constituencies because we were going to sit today. And so I knew they wouldn't have completed it. But all of a sudden, I read about this passage and reacted. And later, I saw on TV all the things that happened. And so this evening, I have asked the leaders to meet me in my office. So they will be here for us to go through it. This is such a critical bill that we believe there must be consensus. But it's not about passing bill. It's about implementing it and making sure that it benefits the people. And so leaders of the both sides of the house will be with me this evening for us to discuss what next.
This is very interesting, Fred, because the Honorable Abansumana Kings for the Backbone has been someone who's been pushing so much. The Right Honorable has been pushing for this bill to go through. But it is strange to hear him say that consideration was what was supposed to happen and not passage.
Yes, that
and
was
again,
the instruction
it's in
he
tandem
left.
with what was said to me on the big issue on Saturday by the NPP Member of Parliament for
Menchia
South, who joined me. And he said the consideration was not what was supposed to, the passage was not what was supposed to happen. And that the NDC side was angered by the fact that Reverend Tim Forjo washed his hands off the bill and said he was going to get his two other colleagues who were part of the proponents, who were going to call a press conference and say, listen, we are not part of this. And then they said, well, let's just pass it already and move on with our life. So it is strange to hear the speaker say what he has said, and we don't even know what this consequence would be, whether the bill has been passed and the speaker was presiding and he passed it. Another speaker says that's not the instruction I left behind. So the question that should be asked is, what can Bernard Ahiafo as first deputy speaker do in the stead or in the absence of the main speaker?
Yes. So, like you said, we don't know what is going to happen. The speaker has made it clear that they're going to have a leadership meeting this evening. And based on that, the meeting, they would come out with the way forward. It's quite shocking to know that the speaker himself was not in the known of the fact that the bill was going to be passed, and the instructions he left was that go through the consideration stage. After going through the consideration stage in the passage, the question people ask will be, would the president sign this particular law and bill into law if it's forwarded to him? The president, as we speak now, is in the United Kingdom, where he's engaging he engaged Ghanaian people from the Ghanaian community yesterday. Today, he's been speaking about this particular bill, and he says that when the bill is forwarded to him, he's going to forward it to the Attorney General to go through the bill and advise him on what to do. He hasn't said he's not going to sign. He hasn't said he's going to sign, but he's going to take advice from the AG, because this particular bill did not emanate from the executive. It emanated from the legislature, private members who filed or tabled this particular bill. Let's listen to President John Mahama on this particular situation.
Parliament has been considering it, and it was supposed to have been passed last week. There have been a few issues raised. One, that there wasn't quorum when it was passed. That's an issue that has come up. And then 2, there were some procedural lapses in terms of its passage. I just got some communication that the Speaker was reading a statement to address the issue of the lapses in the passage of the bill. And so, like I said, when I was the opposition leader, the president has a number of options in this matter. It must come for assent. And so once the president gets it, you go through it because you are not part of the discussion in Parliament. And so the legal representative, the legal counsel in the presidency and the Attorney General would sit on it because it was a private member's motion. Right. This was not a government bill. And so we'll look at it and make sure that everything is in order before the president is advised to assent. The president has another option if there are some things that he thinks are a problem. He can refer to the Council of State for advice. The Council of State is an advisory body to the president, and so they will take a look at it, and then they will advise the president. And if there are issues, substantial issues that are raised, the president would return the bill to Parliament, indicating exactly what the issues are. And so there's still quite a while to go before that bill becomes law.
So there's still quite a while to go before that bill becomes law. That's a man, the only man in the Republic of Ghana, indeed in the world, who can make that piece of document passed on Friday by Parliament become law. Without his signature, it cannot become law. And you've heard him there, not as emphatic as you'd expect, Fred.
Yes, you heard him there. He is
he's a bit winding and long for me. He hasn't said whether
he hasn't said whether he's going to sign it or he's not going to sign it. What he's done is that he's given the process would go through before a final decision is made. So when the law comes, because as I said earlier, it didn't go through the AG. Through the executive.
So it's not a government-sponsored bill.
It's not a government-sponsored bill. Okay. They are going to give it to the AG to take a look at it. Whatever the AG says, it would be brought to him. He will also take a look at it. If he thinks there are issues, he's going to send it to the Council of State for an advice. Okay. Whatever the Council of State comes, whatever the issue is, whether if he agrees or they do disagree with it, they send it to Parliament, back to Parliament for whatever concerns to be raised. If he agrees with it, he will sign. So the president is not so clear as to whether he's going to sign this bill or not. And that is the question people continue to ask. Well. In 2024, the question was asked, would Nana Akufo-Addo sign the bill? He ended up not signing it. His tenure of office ended. In 2026, would John Mahama sign the bill? He has 2 years. We are waiting to see what will happen.
Fred, what I need you to do for me while you step out of the studio is pull out that question that was asked of President Mahama in an interview ahead of the 2024 election. A few days, he was asked, will you sign that bill? And I think there was an answer he gave to the BBC. Please find that for me and stay with me. Let me introduce my guest in studio. Nana Asafo Aye is the Honourable Member of Parliament for Bosomi Frahun in the Ashanti region. He is a Member of Parliament representing the people of Bosomi Frahun. He is an MPP member. He is a Deputy Ranking Member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. Honourable, you're welcome.
Bro, thank you.
How are you doing?
It's been tiring.
Yeah, I can imagine. Were you in the chamber on
the weekend? From Friday, just went to the constituency straight from the chamber.
Okay.
Then I came back yesterday night. I got to town around 12 because I was still with the constituents, attending some funerals and all that. So then I got here, had to prepare for the presser this morning because I had to help in Team Forge to put together the test. And where there was a committee, a team put together. Now, let me state on record that I am not a sponsor of the bill. I'm not a member of the sponsors of the bill. I am not also a member of the committees or any of the committees that considered the bill, legal and constitutional, private members bill and all that.
You're not any. Are you a lawyer though?
I'm not.
But you're a lawmaker, which is important.
So I'm going there. I'm going there. I am just a member of Parliament who reads the documents that were presented to me. I was in the chamber on Thursday. Then they brought the report. And this is the report on the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs. This is the report that came to the House. So if you could recall, on Thursday, I made a comment on this report, and my position was clear, asking the President, asking the House to expedite action on this bill.
Before we talk about the report you're holding before you, I want us to clear something. You were in the chamber when the bill was passed.
Yeah.
The issue of quorum is now being raised after the passage of the bill. What do you recall?
There are two sides of this matter. I'm not a lawyer, like I said. I do not know the legal route to go. But in that room, I could count. And as usual of me, if your reporter was there, who tell you I'm a bit loud when it comes to the chamber. I mean, I say things the way they are. I even shouted that you are just 23 here, all of us.
You said that?
I mentioned.
But off record?
Off record. It was not on the microphone. So the number in the room or in the chamber was lesser than the required quorum. But you see...
So did you use 23 as a matter of fact, or you just use it to represent the small number?
I counted.
With this the NDC side?
All of us.
All of you in the chamber?
All of us.
23?
All of us.
Based on what you saw?
We were 4 from my side.
MPP.
About 4 or 5.
MPP MPs.
Myself, in Team Fojo, Educhum, Honorable Educhum. Then me, at a point he stepped out and came back. He's a sponsor of the bill. He even made a contribution. Then Patrick Boama came in at a point. Then we had our leader, Mama Patricia PJ, MP for Asokwa. Then we had Jerry Ahmed. These were the numbers. Far back, Honorable Ajimai Prempe came in and went out. Then they aside. I counted. I was sure of it. I mentioned it. I said, if the clerks would speak to it, they would tell you. But the point is that Parliament, per our procedure, you do not only look at the numbers in the chamber
at the given time.
At the given time. There are members of Parliament within the precinct of Parliament who are also deemed to say or deemed fit as present in the House.
Who may have clocked in
and step out. You could go to the cafeteria and find some members. You could find other members in their offices transacting other business and other. So I do not know the legal route. So the quorum issue, if it's the number in the chamber, then we were 23. But like I said, like I told you, there are
if
some
it's
other
anything else, then well, you can.
They'll put some other things to it,
Okay.
and then there is a procedure you go through to raise the issue of quorum. And I'm saying this because we didn't raise. It's not like we didn't know, but you see, there was a certain, a stigma or something around this bill that anybody that sought to or seek to
is seen as an
opponent
or a pro-LGBT,
or you are.
So people were scared.
So people did not even want to go to that route. I don't know what the leadership would have done, but when we were there, we couldn't have taken that technicalities and risk the fact that the MPP is against. You know how we will play politics with it. So we were careful.
The issue of quorum is captured in your standing orders, which I do not have here, but I have the Constitution, which is the main law, the parent law. Article 102 on quorum says a quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, shall be 1/3 of all the members of Parliament. But if you go to 104, there's another issue around quorum where they said, except otherwise provided in this Constitution, matters in Parliament shall be determined by the votes of the majority of members present and voting, with at least half of all members of Parliament present. The Speaker shall have neither an original nor casting vote. So Article 102 and 104 of the Constitution deals with forum. So by way of education, I just wanted to read it for my
listeners. But when a member uses the standing order, whom the Constitution to call for quorum, there's a procedure that is taken.
Yes.
I don't think that's what.
I think the standing order, it should be 64. I don't have 64. It immediately, so if you have 64. It, I'll be grateful if you can show me.
The Speaker will ring the bell for about 5 or 10 minutes.
That's division?
No, we are going through to allow members come in. Then the clerk will take a count to see the members present. If we are not, or if we don't form quorum, then technically you must adjourn the House.
Okay.
Yes, so that's why I'm saying that we didn't go through this route.
Exercise. Okay.
So you can, I don't know whether it is enough grounds to go and use quorum as a basis to challenge this bill. I don't know.
Okay. I've heard the president use words like procedural issues.
Okay, so that
and,
I also
so
wrote
I don't know
that
if
here.
that's what he's talking about.
I also wrote that here.
In the past.
So let
me
me tell you what I think he's referring to. 10 people sponsored this bill. 6 of them are of the minority. Minority.
Rather.
Yes. Okay. 6 of them are of the minority. We have Honorable Hassan Tampuli, we have Honorable Mie, we have Nuruddin, Honorable Kabiru, Honorable Eko Asifua, and then Honorable Intim Fojo himself. 6.
Okay.
Then at the other side, we have Honorable Bejra, we have Honorable Sam George, we have Honorable Ntoso.
And then Roxanne.
No, Roxanne didn't. Roxanne did the first,
okay.
the other time Roxanne was there, but this time Roxanne is not there. Then another one making 4 of them.
It's interesting to give this breakdown. The last time this bill was brought, it was by 8 MPs.
Yes.
And 7 of them were NDC. 1 was MPP.
Yes.
Reverend Tim
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, proceed.
Now, so the procedural issue, none of the 4 from the majority side was present.
As of the time you're doing the...
None of them.
Okay.
Now, we had 5 of us who were present. It was Honorable Ekwasifwa, who was out of the country. So when we noticed, in fact, when we discussed, noticed, and raised some of the issues we were raising in the chamber, then because we were being bullied by their numbers in terms of voting, when it comes to the particular clause 9, Honorable Ntim Fojo threatened that the sponsors of the bill never exempted anyone. The sponsors of the bill not at any point in time discussed this introduction of clause 9. So that is not what he's looking for. And the grounds is that the substance, the crux of the bill hinges on clause 9. So if they are not going to take the entire clause 9 off, then he is withdrawing his bill. The sponsor of the bill. He's withdrawing his bill.
Did he say this on record or
yes. He's withdrawing his bill.
Okay.
Then the speaker said that you are at liberty to withdraw your bill. So technically, then you notice that Nuruddin, Mie, Ntim Fojo, Tampuli were converging. In fact, Honorable Second Deputy Speaker even came to the room and called us. I think they sensed the point that Honorable Ntim Fojo wanted to withdraw the bill, and they were the sponsors present.
Oh, so they could have done that?
They could have done that.
Can you withdraw a bill when it has reached consideration stage?
He's a sponsor. He doesn't want the bill again. You can even withdraw it at the... He's a sponsor. He doesn't want the bill again. He has decided...
Anytime before
it is like taking a case to court.
Can withdraw it?
You can decide to terminate the case. So I believe technically when they noticed that, and the withdrawal of the bill would have taken another long route. And this week we are doing the conference on family values and blah blah blah. So this is important. I don't know if you get
to be part of the room.
To be part of the room, this is important.
To show that we are also doing something.
So Honorable Ntim Fojo and a few of us who were there decided to go and do a press conference and state our position. Then the majority with their numbers ran through the bills.
So you were not there when they were doing the final
after clause 9, which we disagreed. They finished with the rest of it just there and then. Okay. As many as who want to stand part of the bill, they yeah. And you must have a member or a sponsor of the bill to, I don't know whether to move the final motion or not. None of them was there.
Is that not supposed to be done by the chairman of the committee?
So that is when you are introducing the bill. I'm not so sure. Okay. But none of them were there. So Honorable Dafia Mekbo did that on behalf of them, and he is not a member or a sponsor of the bill.
Okay.
So
because you and I are not lawyers.
Yeah, so we'll get the technical briefing.
So you are a lawmaker, not a lawyer.
Yes.
I am a journalist. I want us to hear from someone who is a lawyer and who is also your colleague.
Okay.
Honorable Shaibu Mahama. He's a
He
chairman.
was not there. He was not. He's the chairman of the.
He's the chairman of the committee that
Yes,
did
I
this
know.
work, right?
I know. But I'm just saying that he wasn't.
He wasn't in
there.
the chamber.
But I mean, he's my senior.
I know why he wasn't there.
He's my senior.
I know why he wasn't there.
Oh,
He's
okay.
the chairman of the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, a member of Parliament for Daboya Mankarebu. He was celebrating Eid al-Adha in the holy city of Makkah in Saudi Arabia. So he's an Alhaji now. You can call him Alhaji from Monday. Good evening, Alhaji Shaibu Mahama.
Good evening, Umar Sanda. Good evening to my colleague in the studio.
Senior, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you, bro.
Welcome back from Hajj. I hope you prayed for us in Ghana.
Yeah, I prayed for everybody.
Beautiful.
And I prayed for Parliament.
Thank you so much.
And the entire nation.
You've returned to meet a furore in town about the bill that you worked on and whose report has become a subject of debate. Even before I ask you about the issues, there's something that your colleague here and myself could not understand. If you could just explain to us, after the consideration stage, before the final question is put for the speaker to put it, what do you call that, Honorable? So he holds a view that the sponsor of the bill, be it is that if it's a minister who is sponsoring it, which is from the government, or in this case, a private member, one of them should have been there to move it before it becomes a bill properly so passed. And that did not happen. Can you give us an education on how that should have gone?
Yeah, okay, so even though it's a private member's bill, once Parliament is seized with it, parliamentary procedure take precedence over what a private member is. Okay, and so it really doesn't matter whether all, one, or none of the sponsors is available to do that. And that is why the referral is done, is made to the Constitutional Legal Committee. So the chairperson of Constitutional Legal now makes all the necessary input in terms of how to shepherd it up to the passage.
Except that in this instance, the chairperson was in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. So in your stead,
the reason why there's a vice chair.
Okay, but he said it was Roxy Nelson Dapama, who is your whip. He did the final moving of that particular motion. Should it not be by the committee or the committee members based on delegation? Why should a whip be the one making this? Because he said they walked out, and that's what happened.
What did the whip do specifically? I wasn't there for proceeding.
Okay, Honorable, can you help him? What
He moved for them.
So he moved for it to be approved finally before the gavel landed on the table to say that the bill, and you know how the clerks at table read it, and that was right.
Yes, that is not out of place. That's not out of parliamentary procedure. That can be done once it's part of the leadership. Indeed, when the committee chair is not even there, with the leave of speaker, we have very flexible rules. They are not cast in stone. And so the speaker can give leave to even any member of the committee or a member of parliament to move them. It necessarily doesn't have to be a sponsor, the minister who is sponsoring it, if it is a normal bill and not a private member's bill.
Okay.
So that is not out of place. That is not out of parliamentary order.
Very well. Let me return to you in a jiffy. If you could just indulge me. This is 97.3 Citi FM. It's 33 minutes past 5 p.m. or 27 minutes to 6 p.m. You would have heard me say 17:33 GMT by now. And the reason you're hearing me already before 5:30 of 17:30 is that Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM now starts at 5 p.m. and not 5:30 p.m. So we've been on air for the past 34 minutes or so discussing this particular bill, which is one of the big stories we have. I have in studio with me Nana Safoeje Aye, who is MP for Bosumi Frehun, and I am Umaru Sandamadu here with Fafa Melody Portufe. On Eyewitness News, from tonight and for the rest of the days ahead, we'll be bringing you Eyewitness News from 5 p.m. to 7. Your issues or the messages you'll be sending to us are very integral in the talkback segment later on the show. We'll be having business news for you. We have interviews, analysis, and news summaries, all of that happening for you here on Eyewitness News. So if you are listening to us anywhere in this country across the globe, Eyewitness News is now at 5 p.m. Let me return to the phone lines and continue with that conversation the Honorable Shaibu Mahama is having with me. He's chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. Honorable, when you presented that 19-page report to the House of Parliament after you did your work, or before you even presented it, were there objections from the MPP members on your committee? Was this report unanimous, or it was a majority decision?
It was unanimous. I think that.
Which means they did not object to.
No, there's no objection to. Read the report. Nana says he has the report with him, isn't it?
Yeah, he's holding a hard copy here.
If there are objections, it will show in the report.
Then, are you then surprised that there were objections when it got to the plenary where the debate was happening? Because they said that you had brought a watered down bill for the House of Parliament to be passed. You chaired the committee.
Yes, I'm very, very surprised. You know, and the reason the last two meetings of the committee we did broadcast live so that the whole country will see. We mentioned every single stakeholder who was present there to make a contribution. Earlier, we had received myriad of memoranda in this regard, and we considered all. I made it clear from the outset that we will make a law that does not infringe on the fundamental human rights of people, not just supposed LGBTQ, but also any other Ghanaian. And so this is very clear. And before we started, again, I made it clear that, look, Umaru, do you wonder why we are reviewing our constitution today? You see, with a fraction of time, many things will have happened to a law or to a bill. So I said, well, the fact that it was not assented to by the former president gives us an opportunity to relook at the bill in detail. And indeed, we found that it had infringed on rights of people. Basic theory, Umaru, I mean, even client doctor privilege conversation cannot be divulged. And so, even if that was not done, the so-called watered down, the constitutional provision is very clear that you cannot prevent a journalist, you cannot prevent a doctor from treating a patient simply because the patient was involved in an LGBTQ activity. Because the person's fundamental right to health is what is important. Well, it's just like saying that an armed robber who has gone to do robbery was shot, and then the doctor decides, I will not treat the robber because he was involved in an armed robbery. I mean, that's exactly what we are just doing. So we are saying that for the health worker, for the lawyer, for the journalist like yourself, and for academia, I mean, why would you say in advancing the course of academia, research work, people who are involved in doing research work as far as LGBTQ are concerned can be part of? And so we have made that very clear that even if this was not done, it is tried. Even if we did not say subject to the Constitution.
It was subject.
It is clear, it is implied.
Okay.
Now, and so I'm just making it explicitly clear that you cannot punish a doctor for treating a person who is supposedly an LGBTQ person.
Okay.
Or punish a lawyer for representing a person who is accused of LGBTQ.
Let me hear from your colleague. Let me hear from your colleague in the studio. Honorable, I mean, the clause now you are making so much noise about is simply saying that the following persons are exempt: professionals in doing their work, academics, and all of that. What's wrong with that?
I am grateful that some of these revelations are coming up, and that is the thrust of our matter. That is the substance of our argument. That one, the bill you sought to present to Akufo-Addo to sign is materially different from this bill you are going to give to John Mahama, President
Because
Mahama?
things have changed.
Thank you.
Time has
hold
moved.
on. Don't. I mean, he made his point. So basically, it is clear that we are not talking about the same. We are not talking about one same bill.
What's the point?
The point is that you knew that this bill infringed on rights of people, yet you were trying hard to push it for the former president to sign.
Okay, let me hear from him.
Hold on.
Let me. I just want to hear from him.
No, I want to respond to the issue.
No, it's good.
Let me finish.
Because you mentioned the subject to the constitution.
Please,
okay,
let me finish. You see, the point he just made creates an impression that the 8th Parliament passed a bill that sought to prevent a doctor from treating an LGBTQ person. Was that a bill? No. It can never be a problem when a lawyer represents a client who is an LGBTQ.
The Evidence Act protects that already.
Yes. There was no issue. Nobody had an issue with that. I don't think that is a problem. I don't believe that. Now, the Section 9 we are talking about, and the entire issue, LGBTQ, this law, if you ask him, he's a senior, he knows much better than I do. Many aspects of this law are found in other laws, the Children Act, the Criminal Act, the Marriage Act. He will tell you, even the Constitution frowns on LGBTQ. So hitherto, we needed no law because there are enough laws to deal with them. But what I believe necessitated the argument of promulgating this law was the advocacy. It got to a point in time you could see clearly billboards in this country. People were openly coming out to identify, to the point that we were even being pushed to accept, this act in our textbook for our kids. And that was dangerous for us. So we sought to put up a law that would regulate that promotion.
And that's missing in this new law.
This is where you are exempting the people. So the Act 9, Clause 9, Section 9, is based solely on promotion. How will a lawyer defending his client mean promotion? How? How will a doctor treating a client mean promotion?
The clause prior to the 9 has a subheading that says promotion. Do you have that?
Yeah, it's a promotion. It's a prohibition of propaganda, of promotion and advocacy of activity prohibited under this act.
Which clause is that?
Clause 9.
Can you read that?
Okay, so a person shall not promote or support an act prohibited under this act.
Is that not what you're looking for? You've got it in there.
Yes. So why are you exempting this category of people?
Let me hear the chairman. Chairman, okay. Why are you preventing promotion and yet exempting some people?
No, so is my colleague suggesting that when the doctor is treating an LGBT person, is promoting LGBTQ? So simply that's not the case. So we're just saying that while you are criminalizing promotion and the rest of a person who does ABCD, there are certain professionals whose work already the Constitution has guaranteed. And so we just exempt those people. So you would notice that, the arguments they are making is just dancing around the same. What did we take in Clause 9 that is watering down? That is what they have failed in all the press conferences they have done to answer.
So let me put the question to him. What in Clause 9 specifically? Give me a sentence or
watered down.
Or a phrase that shows that watered down.
So for me it's clear. You see, the amendments that were made, you are telling me that you are exempting a publication of an academic, scientific, or medical research finding. Now, how do we hear about LGBT? So if somebody is a promoter, somebody is part of them, somebody is a sponsor, this is a big cartel. Don't you think that the person can hide under this academic work to subtly promote some of these things, just as we were going to see the inception of some of these definitions of gender in the textbooks? So why do you, if there is no problem, if the Constitution protects them, why do you make an explicit assumptions?
Okay.
Why do you make explicit exemption? To give people
who have bad intentions to hide under these exemptions.
Okay, let me wrap this conversation up, and I'm going to bring the chairman. I have heard from the Speaker of Parliament. I played his voice a short while ago. He says he was surprised that, and again, forgive me, you were not in the chamber that evening, but he said he was surprised that the consideration went through and even the bill got passed, because he left an instruction that go through consideration. Then the president has also spoken, and he has also given us a long explanation about what happens to bills when they are passed. He has not said he would sign it or not. It sounds as if, and the president has talked about procedural issues and has talked about lapses in the passage and all of that. The speaker also saying he's surprised now he's summoning the leadership of the House. It appears that even though you passed it on Friday, we may see a repetition of 2024 happening, where the president will not sign.
Okay, so let me start with the speaker. I think I listened to the tape you played, and from his initial comments, it is agreeable that consideration of the bill be done. For my reading of the tape you played, the surprise comes as to how quickly that was done that day, and not because he's surprised that the bill can or could be passed. So it's about the timing. That is my reading of his surprise. Because initially I just made it clear that yes, he enumerated the reasons why we must have our values and then the rest of that. And that we should go through consideration and pass it. Okay, so if somebody reads it differently, that is fine. Again, issues of quorum, I'm still dealing with Parliament, were raised, and I'll be surprised that we will be raising quorum after adjournment. I mean, normally if you think there's a quorum, there's a procedure to go about and raise issues of quorum. If you are not heard, that's a different matter altogether. But the Hansard would have captured it.
Okay.
But let me stay with quorum. I mean, my colleague explained it earlier, that quorum, you would find people come to MPs come to Parliament to register, some walk out into committee rooms, and then they come back. So we've always had this debate as to at what point do we talk about quorum? Is it when MPs finish registering and then they move into to do other meetings somewhere?
Okay.
But clearly, if you feel strongly about a matter that's being done on issues of quorum, it's a matter of concern to you, then you raise quorum when at the plenary and not when there's adjournment. Okay. So otherwise, I mean, you have nothing to talk about. And the issue of quorum really is a matter of fact. I mean, the Hansard is there, the video clips are there. I mean, all these things can be verified. And the Supreme Court has looked at this once upon a time. And so this shouldn't be a big deal. Coming to the president, I mean, you will note that we have two forms of bills. I mean, in the 8th and 9th Parliament, we introduced a private members bill. The reason we are talking LGBTQ. And so once the memoranda and the bill is not emanating from the presidency, the president will have to give it out for advice. I mean, importantly, we will do a private members deal, but the Constitution is very clear that it does not have to have an effect, a financial effect on the national economy. And so these are basic things that Mr. President will want advice both from the Attorney General and then his own personal counsel, and then also from the Council of State.
Very well.
I'm sure this was what he was trying to explain, that once the bill comes, once it's not emanating from his office,
yeah,
he will have to seek this advice from the Attorney General,
okay,
and then before he can accent to it or not.
Let's leave it here. Thank you so much. That's Honorable Shaibu Mahama. He's chairman of the Constitutional, Legal, Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament and MP for Daboya Mankargu, the latest Alhaji in town. Are you an Osofo? Nana.
so you see.
Let's wrap up now. So how far are you willing to push this as a side?
Admissions here. You see, the amendment, the 31 amendments, even if we did one amendment, it is competent enough to make a different bill. So 31 amendment, in fact, and in real terms makes the bill not the same in principle.
Okay.
Now, the issue we are raising, and that is, he made his point, I made my point.
But the question is that, so if we complained in the last parliament that the bill was not competent, and now someone has decided that, okay, let's do a fresh hearing from people, consultation has been done, views have been taken, and they've decided that the clause 9, which just said subject to the constitution, was too flat. Let's give it some meat, and which is what they have decided to do by itemizing who and who are exempted. You should be celebrating, because you were saying that the bill that was going to be sent to the president at the time was faulty. You wanted a better one. They brought you a squeaky clean one. You are complaining. What do you want?
So you get it. The time this whole controversy, which landed in court, preventing the bill from getting to the president, what was their position?
They said it was fine.
So what changed?
They have read, they've listened to the Supreme Court, they have heard around from stakeholders, they've decided that let's do something better. They've done it. So now what's your
Okay, so now you see, if that is an argument or an argument to go by, then they must be thanking Akufo-Addo for getting us to where we are now having a bill which will not suffer that fatality which they did not see that.
Or blame Akufo-Addo for wasting our time, because if he had signed it and made it law, that law could have been amended either by a parliamentary process or the Supreme Court.
These are two views. These are two views. You can hold this one, you can hold that one. Nobody stops you from holding. But you see, I am happy that the President John Dramani Mahama himself admitted that the bill never got to Akufo-Addo. So what it means is that we were only victimizing the man and the entire political party for a bill we admitted that was not a complete bill or had fundamental human rights issues.
Very well. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight. That's the Honorable Nana Asafo-Adjei. He is NPP Member of Parliament for Bosome Frehun and Deputy Ranking Member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Accra. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu here with Fafa Melody. Fafa, we are live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. If you can just help us by going through, for someone who's leaving Accra, how can they listen to us?
Well, in the Western region, you can tune into Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky 93.5 FM, or in Takrade. In the Bono region, you can tune into Green at 95.9 FM in Sunyai. And in the Ashanti region, we are Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Eastern region, you can listen to us on Right 90.1 FM in Somania. In the Volta region, we are Holy 98.5 FM in Aplau. In the Northern region, we are Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Upper East region, tune into Word 88.3 FM in Zwarungu, Mike 105.3 FM in Navrongo, and Bolga 102.7 FM in Bolgatanga. In the Upper West region, we are Pupili 92.7 FM in Wa.
And indeed, we are on the world on citynewsroom.com and on YouTube. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are going to the World Cup. Are we ready? Are we limping? Are we okay? Are we going to get out of the group stages? How many supporters are we sending? Who is going to pay for them? What is the plan? The government said they'll be saving a lot of money. The Honorable Minister for Sports and Recreation, Kofi Idi Adams, MP for Buem, is my guest after this.
News. Be there as it happens.
Charlie, trim I'm nice. I get some serious meeting. Allah, motion. But Charlie, no credit today. Oh, but you relax. More day.
Hey, what funny.
Yes, so I borrow small, sort myself out, I pay back. We move. Sport day. Ah, Charlie, you sure say you dey pay back? Yes, so that anytime somebody else they need them, Momo day. Be like I for can't borrow some more. Hey, you this boy. Don't go there and disgrace yourself. Allah motion.
Responsible borrowing with a real Flexo for today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. Borrow, sort them, pay back. Momo day.
Hey, Charlie, these days there are azar everywhere, and GCB Bank is on the alert to protect your money. So be vigilant. I should share my OTP with you. How can you tell me this story? Masa, one-time PIN will be group work, so don't share. Azar, they say share your PIN for them to help you. Azar, or no link, be no click so. Free ATM help, say. My friend, look sharp. GCB Bank will never ask for a PIN, OTP, or Ghana card details. Don't fall victim. Think before you click or send anything. Azam Boys Day Street. So DG, call 0800-422-42223 or WhatsApp 0202-422-422 when in doubt. Ayazan is brought to you by GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Accra. I am Omar Sandam here with Fafa Melody Portoffe. In 10 days, we are going to the World Cup. Where are we playing? Are we playing in Mexico, Canada, or America? I mean, I'm not even sure. It means I have to start looking for visa. The Honorable Kofi Idi Adams is Member of Parliament for Buem and Minister for Sports and Recreation. Minister, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Sanda, for the opportunity. And good evening to your lovely listeners and viewers.
Good evening to you too. It's nice to hear from you. Are we playing America? Are we playing Mexico or Canada? I want to know which visa to go and look for. Or it's too late?
So for the group stage, we are playing in 2 of the 3 countries hosting the World Cup. We start our project in Toronto, Canada, against Panama. Then the team will move to the United States of America, specifically in Boston, to play England. Then we'll travel to Philadelphia and play our 3rd group match against Croatia. So the 17th, the 23rd, and 27th of June.
So we do 1 in Canada, 2 in the US.
Yes, for the group stage.
Is that not a lot? Because I'm just imagining it geographically from Toronto coming down to Boston and going to Philly. I'm just looking at it a bit of all over the place. Is this FIFA that is handling this, or we have to make this arrangement? How do we do it? And the distance, the preparation, all of that.
Well, this is the first time they are trying the multiple nation host of a mondial of this level. And logistically, it's quite huge. And we are doing our best to be able to keep up. FIFA itself is also doing its bit to also be able to keep up. FIFA is not taking the full responsibility of the cost. Of course, there are some costs that comes to the nation. And so we would also have to manage that and carry that through. So it's not everything FIFA is taking care of. FIFA is doing what they have to do. But the nation is also doing what it has to do to make sure that the process goes smoothly for the team, and also the team enjoy its maximum support that it needs to be able to carry through the agenda we have set for ourselves.
So we know where we are going to play, we know who we are going to play, but we don't know who is going to play. When are we knowing who is going to play? I want to know whether I'll be in the corner.
The coach has put out his 28 member team initial. I think he started first by shortlisting about 50. Then he's screened it down to 28. And hopefully, after today, he should be able to settle the 26 that will go for the World Cup.
But what the 28 he's giving us is just for the friendly. When people are already announcing, I saw Senegal's beautiful video that they did last week or so, many days ago. What's so difficult with announcing our lineup so that people start preparing?
Well, Sanda, it's because Senegal had finished looking at every player they are supposed to look at. So they have announced. Ghana is still going through a process. We have a critical friendly to play. And so why do you rush if you have not been timed out? It's not like we have been timed out. So once we haven't been timed out, why is the rush? So it will surely be announced. And when it is announced, we will carry through. So what is most important is that it is announced within time, and that will surely happen.
Okay. Now, what about our supporters? What is the plan with sending supporters to watch this game in this complex mix of places that we've just talked about?
Well, Omar, it's really nightmarish, and it's a difficult one. This is the first time we are trying that, and for us as a country, this is the first time we are playing a World Cup in that zone. In 1994, when America hosted, we didn't qualify, so we never took part. And it's quite expensive. And this World Cup is not just expensive by the mere fact of the three nations hosting it or the distance from Accra, Ghana, but it is also expensive even with the tickets. The tickets are really very expensive, and they have become even more expensive because FIFA did the pre-order sales. Luckily for us, we managed and planned very well and effectively, and we ordered for 1,000. I believe that is what has saved the situation, because if we were waiting till now, it would have cost us huge sums of money to even get those number of tickets to be able to issue to our supporters and fans all over to also partake in the Mondial.
So currently, currently Ghana has only 1,000 tickets for our people. That's government of Ghana, unless people buy their private capacity.
No, I won't say Ghana, but the arrangement we have put in place, we have secured 1,000. There are many others who have also secured some. Of course, the FA itself have secured some tickets. We have other organizations that also have secured tickets. They are all Ghanaians, sponsoring Ghanaians to be able to get in there. So it is not like only 1,000 that would be in there. There will be more than 1,000. But I'm talking about the arrangement we put in place. That is what we secured.
There's another idea about cost cutting. Talk to me about what your plan is.
So right from the word go, we knew that we cannot take the supporters, as has always been done in previous World Cups that Ghana has participated. If you remember, in Germany, we did quite some good numbers because it isn't too far. Again, in 2010, when we went to South Africa, we improved, we did huge numbers. There were no challenges in terms of visa acquisition and also travel distance to South Africa. It was within the continent. Then again in 2014 in Brazil, yes, it was quite a distance, but it was not as expensive as it is now because the tickets were not this expensive, and also visa acquisition process was not as complicated as it is now. Then Qatar also came in. The government of Qatar heavily supported in many ways because they thought they were marketing Qatar, and so we took part also there. But now, Sanda, the truth of the matter is that America, Canada, they are not prepared to relax any immigration rules or visa acquisition rules because they are hosting the World Cup. And so it has become quite complex, and it's been made worse by another system of booking appointments that the host embassy, for example, like the American embassy in Ghana, can no longer determine the date that they will allow you to bring fans to appear for visa interview. It has to go through what they call FIFA Pass. So you fill your form, you take it through, you add your code that have been provided by FIFA. The platform has to now approve your form from Washington. They approve your form before you can even move further to book an appointment. And so that has really created another challenge and difficulty for us. And so booking appointments has become a bit slow and a bit complex. But we're going through all this, and we have also planned. Luckily for us, the three cities we are playing our group matches are inundated or have a number of Ghanaians and African population. Toronto has a huge Ghanaian population and a huge African population. So we've asked for mobilization on the ground. Beyond even Toronto, there's mobilization going on across general Canada to support the team. Then when you come to Boston also, you have huge Ghanaian community in that zone the Worcester and all those areas we have huge Ghanaian population. So we are taking advantage of that to also mobilize Ghanaians there to make sure that they attend. And general East Coast zone of the United States, we are mobilizing them. Then you go to Philadelphia, also same. They are not far from New Jersey. They are not too far from New York and what have you. So we have given indication that they need to also mobilize and be there to support the team alongside the few that will move from Accra to join.
Now, I want to know what the few from Accra would be. How many of the few from Accra will be sponsored by the government of Ghana?
So we are going through the visa processes. Last Friday, the 29th, the batch that was supposed to appear tomorrow, the 2nd of June, and the 29th of May were brought together and they appeared for their interviews. I think almost about 200 of them. I'm told the report is that about 31 to about 40 were denied. And so the rest were successful. So we will continue to go through the process. And by the end of it, then we'll review and see how many of these supporter union members are successful. Then we'll decide what to do.
Okay.
So we have to wait for the visa process to completely at least come to an end. We have been provided with 8th June as the next major day to present these supporters to go through the visa process. And after that, we'll be able to know the numbers.
Okay. Minister, if you could just indulge me, I would want to engage someone else on this particular matter. That's the Honorable Kofi Adams, his Minister for Sports. Let me bring in Godfred Akoto-Boafo. He's my colleague here at Citi FM. He's a broadcast journalist. I almost said a veteran sports journalist as well. Godfred, you've heard our minister. Does that give you some assurance that as a country we are prepared, and two, we are not going to engage in wastage?
Well, I admire the progress that has been made. I have spoken on several occasions on the City Breakfast Show about the need to save costs when it comes to the World Cup, and I'm happy that the government was also thinking same. I admit maybe it was not as drastic as some of us had envisaged, but one must admit that this is significant progress, especially with the intention of helping the Ghanaians who are already based in Toronto, who are based in Boston, who are based in Philadelphia and other parts of the United States, to get them to also get the stadium to support, because it is numbers that we need. And there was never going to be a system that allows us to take more supporters from Ghana than they already are in the United States. So I am just happy that that progress has been made. With regards to the numbers of supporters, I also cross-checked the numbers Mr. Honorable Kofi Adams mentioned with regards to the supporters. I engaged some of the supporters today. I think the numbers are pretty accurate. More than 100 did get visas on Friday. So I hope in the end, the ministry has a system of ensuring that, okay, this is who we are taking and this is the person who represents us best. Because what also we do not want is a situation, we've seen this from previous experiences of covering this tournament, is these persons go and end up misbehaving and sometimes embarrassing the country. Some of them go and don't actually even go into the stadium. They end up selling the tickets that they have been given to enter the stadium to go and cheer the country on. So what we do not want are the scandals and the bad stories that come with it. But overall, I think this is significant progress from the previous system that was in existence. I think it can only improve from here, Sandra.
How many numbers would be too many numbers flying from Accra, which was going to be a cost on our national purse, from your estimation and knowledge?
Well, that is beyond me. But as a normal citizen, if you tell me you're spending over $10,000 on a single person, and you are sending 500, 600 of that for a country like Ghana, I mean, it's not realistic. I listen to other citizens of other countries, and if you tell an American that you are going to spend $10,000 on watching a World Cup, the American will slap you. You've been there. I mean, $500 or $400 to an American is a lot of money. That's 2 months groceries. So if we decide as a country that is still finding itself that, okay, this is how much we are investing in our citizens to go and clap and support a football team that is in action, and the numbers are that high, of course you are going to get some level of animosity. Then you are not getting the total unified support that you are looking for, because people will be asking the economic questions. Could this money have been used in other ways? But like I said, we must admit that progress has been made.
Okay.
In the end, we will keep an eye, because that is what we can do on the numbers that they bring. We will be at the stadium, we will count. Avle is on, so I'm just letting him know I will be there. I will count the people who show up. There are ways of figuring it out, but I trust that they know what they are doing, and that in the end they will do what is the most prudent for the public best.
Godfred, you are into player management as well. Logistics. We are moving our players between two countries within a very few days to go and play at different locations. Would that affect us in any way, or because everybody is going through that, we can't use that as an excuse?
No, we can't. And it's going to be a very difficult World Cup, because you're also going through different clients and time zones. So you're going to Mexico. But I think if you look at the planning of FIFA, they've planned this in such a way that although these are big, countries separated by long distances, the teams are not too stretched. So Ghana is on the East Coast. So Boston, Philadelphia, Toronto is manageable. Imagine if you have to play in Boston and then go to California, or you have to play in Philadelphia and then go somewhere else. It would have been a bit of a stretch. So I think what FIFA has been able to do is to keep the countries in reasonable travel distances. What I would compare this to would be when we went to Brazil. Brazil is a massive country. And when we covered the World Cup in Brazil, the national team, for instance, was based in Maceió. We had to catch a flight to go and play one game in Salvador and then another game in Brasilia. That's almost 2.5 hours, 3 hours. But I think they are professionals. They are able to manage this. The people who manage the team are also experts at moving logistics. The system has been put in place to make sure that the national teams, especially who are the guests of the host countries, will be given a certain level of priority when it comes to their movements. I don't think they will struggle too much in terms of logistics.
Godfred, our soldiers, I don't know if we can say they are ready. I mean, if they are ready, we don't know them. And then we are hearing of injury among one of our star players, Jiku. Are you concerned that we still don't know who is going to play? The minister says, well, it's not as if we have a time bound by you to mention this, and so we are fine. Maybe we may get it tomorrow next. Is it a big deal? And Jiku's injury, how big a deal is that to the Black Stars?
Well, I can only speak for myself. I don't think it's too big a deal, and maybe that is born out of just having been around the national team for a very long time. I think we all know the squad that is in there, and everybody has a pretty clear indication of who will drop out to make up the final 26. So I don't think it's too difficult an exercise. I don't get where the angst is coming from in terms of, the squad has delayed or this or that. I think who will go, will go. What we need is a decent team that will not embarrass us, a decent team that will represent Ghana in the best possible way. The Jiku is a big loss, because I think since Jiku made his debut for Ghana, he's become one of our most reliable players, and reliable not just on the field. He's a very strong character in the dressing room. He's a player. He's somebody that players respect. He holds unity in the dressing room. So his importance to the team is not just on the pitch. He's a very quiet character, but he has immense respect in the dressing room, and I think that is where we will feel his loss the most. I hope they are able to keep him around, at least just to balance the dressing room and things, even though he might not make the squad. It's only decent that if he wants to make the trip, Anabu Kofi Adams and Co can make it happen. So Kofi, please do that for him. But Lucasen coming in, I don't think I'm a bit surprised people have complained about Lucasen. I think it's much ado about nothing. People say, bring in that player. Look, he doesn't have too much experience with the national team. That much is true. But he's a very experienced player. He's not a 21-year-old player coming in. This is a 30-year-old with experience at the highest level of football for some time. Now, people are concerned about his disciplinary record. There's no fair play competition we are engaged in. He's a centre-back. There are two profiles of centre-backs, the one who fouls and the one who is calm. Jiku was that type of player, which is why the coach brought in a similar profile. He could have brought in any other type of defender, but he brought in somebody who fits exactly what Jiku gives us and what we have lost. It could have been any other player. I don't think I would have been too concerned if it was Joseph Edu or it was any other. What we can do is just to support the player who has come. I've heard the concerns about, he's had 72 cards over his career. I would be concerned if I have a defender who doesn't have a yellow card. That's all I'm saying. But let's also be factual. In the season past, he's played 28 games with 11 yellow cards. He scored 6 goals. Why is nobody talking about the fact that you have a centre back who has scored 6 goals? You are more worried about the centre back who has 11 yellow cards. 11 yellow cards spread over 28 games. He's played 8 Champions League matches. A lot of people watched him in the Champions League. So what exactly is the concern about this player? And Sandra, just to wrap this up, truth be told, it's not like Ghana, this is not Ghana 2010 or 2006, where we are blessed with some supreme group of defenders. This is who we have. If we are putting a group of 10 Ghana defenders together, so-called, Derek Lucasen would be in it. How would you ignore a player who plays in the Champions League in this current Ghana setup and say there's a better option? So I think it's a bit much ado about nothing.
Okay.
He comes in, he gets the job done. We go with it. For me, I'm not too worried again.
Well, thank you so much, Godfred Akotobua, for
yeah, but Sandra, just a question for Honorable, though, before you let me go, if you allow me.
Okay, go ahead.
If on the concerns that have come from the diasporan community is the clarity and transparency for them in accessing the tickets that the government is going to help them with. So if perhaps Honorable Kofi Adams, maybe the plan is not yet ready, he can tell you what the plan is so that they also don't feel cheated, because most of them are also afraid that although the president has made the announcement, somebody is going to deny them these tickets because they don't know how to access the tickets. So if maybe Honorable Kofi Adams can explain that for you in the course of the show, I'll be very happy. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much, Godfred Akotobua, as my colleague here at Citi FM. So, Honorable Minister Kofi, Godfred has given you a very clean bill of health in terms of how we are looking, except that he has had one question about the management of the tickets. Can you answer that so that we can do one more question and then we call it a night?
So, ticket management has always been an issue when it comes to big competitions like this, in all, from 2006 through 2010 and the rest, when tickets will be flown down physically to Ghana, and you see people following up, wanting to buy them from the black market and what have you. But luckily for us in this case, the tickets are being issued electronically. So we are not going to give tickets to individuals who will decide to go and sell them. No. For in our case where we did this bulk purchase, the FIFA arrangement was that individual email addresses are provided so that the tickets are sent to them. But another layer has been created where tickets in 20s, so for 20 tickets can be sent to one email address who will lead those number of persons, and they get admitted into the stadium where the match will be played. So a lot has been introduced to make sure that nobody will go and resell his or her ticket to make some money out of it. And we will seriously check that. FIFA itself frowns on that. So I can tell you about the level of transparency that we are going to introduce in this ticket distribution matter. What should go for the Philadelphia match, we will know, and the processes where the various communities, we know them already, and information will be sent. Of course, not everybody will get. Ghanaians in United States of America are more than 1,000. Even if all the 1,000 tickets are to be given them, we will not get everybody. So if you don't also get out there and say that because I didn't get it meant that there was no transparency. We will make sure that we are transparent, we are open, everybody will get to know and how those tickets are being done. We have embassies, we have the High Commissioner in Canada, we have an ambassador in the United States of America, we have officers from the research department, we have Ghanaian community leaders, all of whom will come together to be able to aid the processes. So Ghanaians abroad and Ghanaians in diaspora should rest assured that the promise of His Excellency the President will be implemented to book, and we are not going to favor one person against the other.
Honourable Minister, by virtue of qualifying, FIFA gives us some money. What have we done with that money, or how are we utilizing that money?
So that's true. Once you qualify, you are entitled to some funds. Not everything comes. FIFA is able to pay something in advance. For this tournament, they promised to make available about $2.5 million for preparations. So the friendlies that you get involved in, the various movements like we are doing now, the movement of players, the various activities, all that is catered for by this money that is released in advance. Of course, it will be accounted for. And that is one thing I haven't hidden away from the FA, that every peso they are utilizing, they must make sure proper records are kept, so that at the end of the tournament, you would have to account for that money that has been advanced to the FA for preparation purposes. The remainder of the money usually get paid after the tournament, and it increases as you advance. If we advance to round of 32, we get some additional money. If you move to round of 16, you get additional money. If you move to the round of the quarterfinals, you get even more, and so on and so forth, till up to the finals, where they've pegged it about 50 or 60 million thereabout. So we are in it to go very far, and we pray that God smiles on us. Yes, you are right that we have some injury, but the coach has a responsibility to make sure that he works through to get replacement, so that the central defense doesn't become weak.
Okay. Well, Minister, we are going with 26 players when the list eventually comes. How much are we going to give each player from government of Ghana coffers as
we've decided not to increase the benefit that has been given these players over the years as they partake in the World Cup. We have also decided not to reduce it because we did not have any real engagement with them to speak to the matters of reduction. So we are keeping to the very conditions that they have operated in since I think 2014. So the appearance fee remains same. The what they call per diem remains same. It's not changed. It's not been increased because it's America or Canada. So we are keeping to those figures. Maybe in future we can sit as a country, agree, and also agree in advance with these players that this is what is going to be. And so in that case, we are not surprising anybody, but we are just keeping to what it is that we have agreed on.
Thank you so much, Minister, for your time tonight. And
thank you for the. But the only thing I want to say is that I have so much out there, speculations, and tickets are being sold. Tickets are not being sold. Where the slots are being sold, I'm not aware that any such thing is happening. There are many other organizations who are also working to move supporters. Private companies, travel and tour companies are doing their thing also. They will, of course, charge money. There are other institutions that are taking people for their fun activities and what have you. They will take money to be able to execute that. People should not lump up what those organizations are doing and what, through the efforts of government, we have mobilized funds. We are not using budgetary allocations. We are not taking money from state coffers to do what it is that we are doing. We stepped out there and told companies interested to market themselves that this is the situation. There is a World Cup. We want to send a certain small number of persons. We want to buy tickets. We want to do a number of things. Can you support the process? And they are donating willingly towards that. And that is the money we are using to do all this. We are not taking money from the coffers of the state to do this.
Minister, thank you so much, and
thank you.
We'll see you supporting and cheering on our Black Stars, and we pray that we go beyond group stages and not behave like we did in Qatar.
That's our prayer, my brother.
And we pray that Querez, whatever happens, he shouldn't fly from there back home. He should come back here, so that if we have to beat him, we beat him. If you have to celebrate him, we celebrate him. So please.
Well, we will come. I believe that we will come home in a very respectable way. That's my wish. That's our prayer, and I wish that all Ghanaians can pray for the team. You may wish a particular player in that is not in. Please don't say because of that you wish evil for the team. It's our national team. Let's pray for them. Let's all commit our hearts towards the team, and let's see what comes out of it.
Thank you so much. That's the Honourable Minister for Sports and Recreation, the Member of Parliament for Boem, the Honourable Kofi Idi Adams. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We've been doing analysis interviews for you for the past, 1 and almost half hours. And like I said to you, Eyewitness News now, if you are just tuning in, start from 5 p.m. and goes all through to 7 p.m. Now we have news summaries coming up next, and Fafa has that for us.
Well, the Municipal Chief Executive for Avle Central, Frank Nkansa, says the Assembly has not issued permits for construction on waterways. The comment comes in response to President John Dramani Mahama's warning that MMDCEs who approve construction on waterways could face dismissal. Speaking to City News, Frank Nkansa said the Assembly has strengthened surveillance and enforcement mechanisms to stop illegal structures before construction begins.
At the downstream, we have a lot more issues because usually when it floods, because almost every water, these are water that is coming, or the flood that is coming toward from Ebri or Equiapimda area. So we at the downstream, that's why we suffer a lot. But Garrett is working, and we know in the coming days, they have even earmarked the First Light Area project to start very soon. And so we know when that is done, the flooding issue would be curtailed. Our works department have also been very proactive, ensuring that if there is any arrangement or anybody around the area who want to put in a building around any of the waterway, immediately we stop it before the person even commences. As an assembly, for the past 1 year or 2 years, we have not issued any permit for anybody on the waterway.
That was the Municipal Chief Executive for Avle Central, Frank Nkansa. Now, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has clarified its role in the broadcast of the 13th African Games following the release of the Auditor General's report. The more than 700-page audit report cites financial irregularities amounting to 580 million Ghana cedis. GBC has been accused of organizing training programs that could not be accounted for, sidestepping procurement processes in relation to the broadcast of the Games, among other findings. Here are excerpts from GBC's response in this News Desk report.
Responding to concerns over delayed Public Procurement Authority ratification and procurement irregularities, GBC admitted there were delays in regularizing the process. However, it explained that it was engaged late to serve as host broadcaster for the 13th African Games, forcing management to adopt a single-source procurement approach. GBC also rejected claims that it had been informed of plans to generate $5 million for the sale of broadcasting rights for the 13th African Games. It said no such intention was communicated to the corporation, either verbally, in writing, or through any official directive. With regard to the granting of free broadcast rights to SuperSport, GBC said it had acted on the direct instruction of the local organizing committee chair, Dr. Kweku Ofosu Asare, who explicitly directed that the rights be granted at no cost. The corporation maintains that its actions were based on official authorization and not on independent managerial discretion. GBC also responded to findings relating to an irregular training contract with a production room TPR. Management insists the training took place, added that participants described it as impactful and critical to their professional development. On the issue of the agreement between GBC and the production room, management explained that the original contract provided for the supply of 6 laptops. Following an assessment, GBC requested 2 additional laptops and asked TPR to formally vary the contract to reflect the new quantity of 8 laptops. According to GBC, TPR subsequently submitted a written proposal confirming the variation to the original agreement.
Well, you had excerpt of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation's response to the Auditor General's report. Now, the Ashanti Regional Office of the Ghana Investment Promotion Centre, GIPC, is blaming the takeover of businesses reserved for Ghanaians and non-compliance with foreign investment laws on fronting. The practice reportedly involves some Ghanaians collaborating with foreign nationals to register businesses in their names in order to evade the provisions of the law. The Ashanti Regional Deputy Director and head of the GIPC Zonal Office, Michael Autry, says the trend is undermining enforcement of the Ghana Investment Promotion Centre Act 2013.
We have a challenge whereby Ghanaians do fronts for foreign businesses. The business you see are owned, operated, and controlled by a foreigner. Yet, on paper, you see that the business is owned by a Ghanaian. And this is an offense. So I want to use your channel also to warn Ghanaians who are into that so that they can resist. It's an offense which they could face prosecution. So I think these two challenges, non-compliance and fronting, is impeding our work, especially in the region of Ashanti.
You are the Ashanti Regional Deputy Director and Head of the GIPC Zonal Office, Michael Autry.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Still ahead, we have Talkback, where we'll be hearing from you the messages that you have been sending through to us on 0539 986 996, the WhatsApp number 0539 986 996, or if you went on Twitter, now known as X, and you sent me a message by mentioning my handle, then I'll be reading that for you as well. But before then, we'll be having the latest in the world of business from the Citi Business Desk. Stay tuned in.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hello, good afternoon. I am calling from your bank. We are currently experiencing a system downtime, so we need to secure your account. Please, can you confirm your account number and your login details so we can restore access immediately? Yes, your username and password, just to verify.
Beware of fraudsters. Your bank will never ask for your login details, PIN or password over the phone. Shine your eye. Spot the fraud. Stop the fraud. This message is brought to you by the Ghana Association of Banks.
If you spot the fraud, you go fit to stop the fraud. Make you know they lose God.
Electrical say you mean Nancy no ma you wo every time man focus so fake na begum it's am on motor cables and one no ma scan check the cables no or your Nexus cable metal one low smoke anti-counterfeit cables ni bia so nye bia muntoda e dey na ma wo use sa cables na e ma ni dem sronko low smoke anti-counterfeit cables we me che there certificate cables on your papa wire then say gentleman open whistle p toxic no me jenu so huwa ono mpongwetebo tubeku na say use low smoke anti-counterfeit cable o major inshuo whistle ka kribi no ba inti atrienche bitu na gyadan numa ehwanyim low smoke anti-counterfeit cables ya etwa ehona hwa ebotu scan na check there so your original free Nexus cable metal low smoke anti-counterfeit cable ya sashe na ya jatu be there onyi Ghana cable okwa kwesi that
Nexus cable metal, electricity no get leg. The Nexus cable metal cable they carry ya.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
It's 16:33 GMT, 27 minutes to 7 p.m. on 97.3 Citi FM, and 18:33 GMT, 6:33 p.m. if you are a local person like Nilati, and and also some 27 minutes to 7 p.m. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Nilati is our head of business here at 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television. He's joining me in studio. Ni, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Sanda.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm well.
Good to see you from the weekend.
I've been loving all those beautiful things, the artwork you've been doing about the cost of goods. Now it gives me an idea how much a bucket of tomato
That's the Channel 1 price market barometer.
I love it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please keep doing more. Keep doing more.
I hear you, Sanda.
But what do we have today? What are the major headlines today?
Well, so the Bank of Ghana is probing frozen deposit complaint at Equity Savings and Loans Company. Today, this afternoon, actually, we received reports that some customers are having difficulties in accessing their funds there. So what did we do? We went on the grounds and then went to some of the branches here in Accra.
The company is called
Equity Savings and Loans, a company that has been running since 2017 as a savings and loans company. This afternoon, like I'm saying, we received reports that some customers could not access their funds in there. So we went on the grounds, and then what we gathered was that the development is not actually new. It dates as far back as a year ago.
Okay.
And so some customers have had difficulties in getting their funds, and so the Bank of Ghana has stepped in.
I see. What other stories is the business desk focused on?
Well, you know, the 2026 edition of the Citi Business Festival has also commenced today. Being our first week and the very first day, we have some advice for businesses who are yet to formalize their business and even register. So we'll be hearing from the Office of the Registrar of Companies.
Please take it up and give us the latest in the world of business.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Nik Amarteifio. Let's settle for the details now. Some customers of Equity Savings and Loans are demanding access to their locked-up deposits, citing prolonged difficulties in withdrawing their funds following the closure of several branches. The affected customers have been unable to access their savings for more than a year, raising concerns about the ability of the financial institution to meet its obligations to depositors. Customers who spoke to Citi Business News at the La Paz branch appealed to regulators and other relevant authorities to intervene and facilitate the release of their funds.
My saving almost my funds 40,000. But as a businessman,
I had saved close to 40,000 cedis with the company, but I withdrew part of it to support my business, leaving a balance of about 11,000 cedis. Since I have been unable to access those funds, my business has been affected and is now struggling. I am appealing to the government and the relevant authorities to help recover our deposits so I can reinvest in my business and get it back on track.
What I want is simple. I want my money back. The authorities have not given us any definite timeline on when operations will resume. Some individuals who were part of the institution's leadership now act as though they were never associated with it. We are sometimes told that the Jolu branch has reopened, but when customers go there, the branch remains locked. The Kaswa branch is also closed. The way this situation is being handled is unfair to customers, and we are calling on the authorities to intervene.
You heard some customers at the La Paz branch of Equity Savings and Loans demanding their locked-up funds. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana has initiated processes to investigate reports of the locked offices and customer withdrawal challenges at the Equity Savings and Loans Company following increasing concerns from affected depositors. Citi Business News sources at the Central Bank indicate that internal procedures have been triggered to ascertain the accuracy of reports that some customers have been unable to access their deposits for more than a year. The government will begin rolling out electronic point of sale devices nationwide in July as part of a broader strategy to strengthen tax compliance and enhance domestic revenue mobilization. According to Finance Minister Dr. Samuel Attah-Mensah, the initiative, which is expected to increase value-added tax revenue by at least 20%, forms a key component of the government's effort to improve tax administration while reducing reliance on new taxes to drive revenue growth. Speaking at the Ghana-UK Investment Summit in London on Monday, Dr. Forson disclosed that pilot testing of the EPOS system is nearing completion.
At the same time, we needed to ensure that we grow revenue. 1 year, we've been able to move tax to GDP from 12.3% to now 13.2% and going to 14% of GDP this year. This is because we first decided to rationalize VAT. And so VAT was actually distorted, and we needed to remove the distortion. because we noticed that our VAT, for example, had embedded in its sales tax at the same time VAT. It's never done anywhere in the world. So we needed to rationalize it and remove the sales tax element of it and introduce the VAT as it is. It is working well. Now we are about to introduce what we call electronic point of sale devices. We expect to implement it in July. And that, I believe, will be a game changer for VAT. I believe that that will increase our VAT by a minimum of 20%. And so the pilot is almost done, and we are about to rolling it out.
Finance Minister Dr. Samuel Attah-Mensah, while speaking at the same event, President John Dramani Mahama said government is intensifying effort to attract British investment to Ghana, positioning the country as a preferred destination for foreign investors amid ongoing economic reforms.
The recently passed Ghana Investment Promotion Authority Act removes minimum capital requirements across many sectors. It strengthens investor protections and guarantees the repatriation of profits by reducing bureaucratic bottlenecks and creating a more responsive environment for businesses to thrive. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ghana is not only a national market of over 34 million people. Ghana is your strategic entry point into the ECOWAS and African market. ECOWAS market of over 425 million people, and the African Continental Trade Area, which represents more than 1.4 billion consumers, the scale of opportunity emerging across Africa. And few countries are better positioned than Ghana to serve as a platform and hub for engaging that opportunity. To the international investors gathered here today, let me say this clearly. Ghana is open for business.
President John Dramani Mahama. Moving on, some oil marketing companies have begun adjusting palm prices upward as the first pricing window of June takes effect. The price revisions are being driven by rising international petroleum prices and recent depreciation of the cedi, raising concerns about the outlook for fuel costs in the coming weeks. More in this report by my colleague Daniel Sakite.
Among the early movers is Star Oil, which has increased its petrol price to the National Petroleum Authority's price floor of 15 cedis 20 pesos per litre from 14 cedis 60 pesos per litre in the second pricing window of May. Diesel prices at Star Oil have remained unchanged at 15 cedis 81 pesos per litre, while RON 95 has risen from 15 cedis 49 pesos to 15 cedis 77 pesos per litre. Checks by Channel 1 Business at Shell and Total Energies outlets showed petrol selling at 15 cedis 60 pesos per litre, while diesel was retailing at 16 cedis 99 pesos per litre, bringing prices closer to the 17 Ghana cedis mark. The latest adjustment reflects increased international prices for refined petroleum products, particularly petrol. The latest weakening of the cedi against major trading currencies is also an additional factor influencing pricing decisions. More OMCs are expected to review their palm prices in the coming days as the first pricing window of June unfolds. At a minimum, OMCs and LPG marketing companies currently selling below the NPA approved price floor are expected to adjust their prices accordingly. For the current window, the NPA has set the petrol price floor at 15 cedis 20 pesos per litre, diesel at 15 cedis 49 pesos per litre, and LPG at 13 cedis 48 pesos per kilogram.
Daniel Sakite's report. And now to the Citi Business Festival 2026, and the Office of the Registrar of Companies is advising operators of informal businesses to formalize their enterprises through registration, describing it as a critical step towards achieving legal recognition, business growth, and long-term sustainability. According to the ORC, formalization not only enhances a business's credibility, but also improves access to financing opportunities and ensures compliance with regulatory requirements. Speaking on the first day of the Citi Business Festivals on a series on the theme Starting Right, Business Registration and Compliance, Assistant Chief Company Inspector at the Office of the Registrar of Companies, Frank Opokudako, highlighted what entrepreneurs need to register a business in Ghana with.
Business registration is registering your business, coming to our office and going through some, procedures, going through some processes to get your company or your business registered. So with a sole proprietorship, which is a one-man business, you come to the office with your Ghana card, and you need a tin. Although the Ghana card is now the tin, but with us we still need the tin,
the Ghana card and the tax identification number.
The old one, the one that starts with the P00. Yes, we still need it. This is because if we restrict it to the Ghana card and somebody is outside the shores of the country and doesn't have a Ghana card, the person will not be able to register. So we still use the tin. And so when you don't have a tin, or if you don't have a tin, we would apply for one for you. So there's GRA on our premises that we would issue you with a tin to be able to register a business in Ghana.
What more is there to it?
So depending on what you are doing and what we will require from you. So the sole proprietorship, one-man business, will need your personal details, where the business is situated, the GPS address of the company, the postal address of the company.
Frank Opokudakon is the Assistant Chief Company Inspector at the Office of the Registrar of Companies. The City Business Festival 2026 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television in partnership with Absa Bank. It is proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN, Zonda Tech Ghana Limited, and Petra Trust. And that's it for the very latest in the world of business on Eyewitness News. I'm Neela Telati. Back to you, Umar Sanda.
Thank you so much, Neela Telati. So the business festival is throughout the month of June.
So from 1st June to 30th June.
And then we have an outdoor event that we are doing apart from the on-air series.
Yes, so we have on-air series from Monday to Thursdays with a wrap on Fridays on the business edition. But the on-air series is on radio 9 a.m. and then on television at 11 a.m. with a repeat at 6 p.m. And so the on-air series, that's the schedule for it. And then also we have the management boot camp later on in the month, plus the forums that you are asking about. So we have 4 fora happening this month. So we begin next week.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Neela Telati is our head of business here at 97.3 Citi FM. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are broadcasting from our studios in Accra. I am Umaru Sandamadu here with Fafa Melody Potufe, who's been bringing you the news summaries of the day. I also have Fred Tetejabano with me. He's our head of current affairs news manager. And it's now time for Talk Back. Talk Back is where I get your views and messages and reactions to the stories that we are bringing you tonight. And I have regular texters and new texters coming through. I'm going to start off with my irregular texter. That's Isaac. He's sending his message from Kaswa Iron City. And he says, I can see this LGBTQI bill going through the same fate it went through during the past government's regime without the president assenting to it. Well, Isaac, I must say to you that I'm also seeing something like that, because the issue is that, so you have a government which, when it was in opposition, promised that when they come, they're going to make sure that this bill goes through. They blamed Akufo-Addo and the MPP for failing to sign it. And the president, and Fred, have you found that story for me? The president's question when he was on the BBC was asked a question about what would happen with the LGBTQI bill. And he said if he became president, he would sign it immediately. And so that was what he said. Now he's in power. And I remember when the question was asked him, he said that the government wanted to have the Attorney General introduce the bill instead of the private members. But eventually the private members bill went through. And when that went through, it was what do you call it? It was rather brought by private members, and it went through a long deliberation, and we saw the swift nature with which it was passed. So, Fred, we will deal with this matter a little longer, right? But I have to do something else?
Yes, the transport fares had come up for discussion this week or this morning, since the weekend where we had transport operators announcing a 20% increment in transport fares. This morning, we tried to follow up on the issue. We were told that there was going to be a meeting between the Transport Ministry and the operators. Before the meeting could even take place, we were told that 20% increment which was announced was not the case. as of now, the meeting has ended. We are not sure of the decision.
Okay, let's get a surety on the decision. Godfred Abulbre is secretary of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Godfred, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Hey, Eyewitness News?
Yes, this is Eyewitness News.
Wow.
What were you expecting, Godfred?
The lady didn't mention that.
This is Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Yeah, they didn't mention that.
She wanted to surprise you because...
wonderful.
But 97.3 Citi FM. You are from Upper East based on your name. When you go home, you listen to us, don't you?
That's to be honest, that's my station.
Thank you so much. Keep listening to 97.3 Citi FM. Relevant radio always.
Yeah.
But I have a little confusion, Godfred. On Friday, when we were going home, there was a statement that said there's going to be 20% increase in transport fares from Tuesday. So me, as a Trotro user, I started looking for 20% of whatever I was going to pay. Then this afternoon, there's an information that it is not true. So who is lying to us? Those who said on Friday that there was going to be an increase on Tuesday, or those who are saying today there will be no increase on Tuesday?
In fact, I would want you to do us more a favor. Whenever a document like that comes, look for the author and let the person sign it. When you just write, put somebody's name there and just sign, phone number, and then sign, no, doesn't mean that it has been signed. What I issue today is that we have signed and indicated the date that we signed it. My name is there clearly. But for you to get up, there has been always a particular procedure there where we do fair adjustment.
But this one is joint press release. Friday, May 29, 2026, GPRTU of TUC, or Gipritu of TUC, as Richard Sky would want to say, and Commercial Transport Operators of Ghana announced 20% fare increase effective 2nd June 2026. And it is signed by plenty people. Ben Boahin, member of communication, GPRTU of TUC, Eric Latte Lamte, member of communication, GPRTU, Samuel Amwa, National Deputy PRO of GPRTU, Asunoba Nana Redu, National Chairman, Commercial Transport Operators, Pa Willie, National Chairman, Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, David Agbuado, National PRO, Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, and Yao Berima, National PRO, Commercial Operators, True Drivers. Do you know these people?
I know them, but I'm saying that publication they've done is fake. I don't know whoever is behind it.
How is it fake? Are they not legitimate officers of the unions that they represent?
Exactly so. I'm saying that when we inquired this afternoon to find out whether the names attached there, whether they were aware, they said no.
So
that's why we have.
So
to
someone created the message and put their names and details there.
Exactly. That's what I want to say.
So let them issue a statement and say it's not true. Because if you issue it, it is almost like, because people would believe it. How then do we know which statement from the
now we have come out saying that the public should disconnect it. The public should not recognize it, and then they should not even honor it. And now, if they think that what we are saying is rather not correct, they should come out and say what we are saying is not correct. No increase.
So tomorrow, you don't expect that based on the communication, your drivers will start increasing fares. If they do, what should passengers do?
Fine. The passengers should quickly be alerted and report to us that station A or B have effected the 20% increment which was pronounced.
But
we think that it is just totally wrong. From where we are on the part of price of the fuel, it went up to 18, came back to 17, came to 16 now. And then we were told from last week from the MP that it is going to come today back to 15. So to me that the price on the fuel is not stable yet.
Does it mean that? Mean then that the price of the fuel means there's no need for an increase yet?
No.
Oh, okay. There can only be an increase when there's an increase of the fuel price. Who do you think then is behind this fake news?
That's the more reason why I said when we invited all of them, it is someone who did that. But they themselves, how can all of them were there, hold a meeting and issue that statement? All that they mentioned, they were not even there where the person who did that, they were not with him.
So they don't know about it. They did not author it. They don't know anything about it.
No, they did not author it.
Okay.
But you were saying that when you saw their names, did they sign it or they only put their sign?
They wrote signed, but they put their name. But usually people do that these days. They write
No, but that is not authentic. That is not. I don't think that one. Anybody who does that to me, I will go to court. I will defend it. You don't just put my name there and say sign. To me, that I'm aware.
Okay, so next time we'll look for their signature, and if we see their signature,
exactly, my brother. Help us to do that. Help us to. And
but you know, Mr. Abubakar, these days people have electronic signatures that they can use. So that one too.
So, no. Then that is where the issue will even be more of a litigation matter. When you electronically put somebody's signature on a document, it becomes criminal.
Okay, thank you for speaking to us. It becomes criminal. Thank you, and keep listening to Eyewitness News.
Thank you.
That's Godfred Abulbre, his GPRTU secretary. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Talk Back is the segment we are on. And so, Fred, what did the President Mahama, when he was opposition leader a few days to election 2024, say about the LGBTQ bill?
When he was asked whether he would sign the bill, he says that it depended on what was in the bill.
Okay.
So we can take a listen to what he said in 2024.
Very well.
Ghana is among the few African countries to pass draconian anti-LGBT legislation widely condemned by human rights groups. Will you sign it into law if it is brought before you?
It's not an anti-LGBT, it is a family values bill. It was approved unanimously by our parliament. You see, it's against our culture, African culture. It's against our religious faith, Muslim and Christian and all that. But I think that we must look at the bill, and the president must indicate what he finds wrong with that bill and send the bill back to Parliament. Or alternatively, he must send it to the Council of State and get the Council of State's advice.
Is that what you would have done?
That's what I would have done.
And will you ever sign an anti-LGBT bill?
It depends on what is in the bill.
So, Fred, this is very similar to what he said again this evening.
When you listen to what he said this evening and what he said in 2024, it doesn't look like there's any difference. He says that he would have referred it to the Council of State. Today, he's saying that he's going to refer it to the Attorney General. If there are issues, he's going to take it to that Council of State. So he gave two
options which he may explore. We don't know which one. Let's say that, let's make this point that the bill has not even left Parliament yet.
Exactly.
And now that the Speaker is even saying that he's surprised that the bill has been passed and he's calling a meeting of leaders, you never know. Maybe tomorrow they'll
come and tell us that a motion may be introduced for the bill to be brought back for consideration stage.
Or they can decide to not submit it to the president. I don't know. I have to
or someone may go to court to go and challenge the quorum issue.
Who's someone? Do you have somebody in mind?
Not really. We are in a country of democracy where we believe in the rule of law.
Don't mention anybody.
So
it's okay.
Anyone can go to the court.
The president is only telling us how the laws of Ghana work. If not, I know he will sign it. That's Abi National in Wa. So all the noise Honorable John Timfojo was making regarding the LGBTQI+ issue was merely for the cameras. If he truly wanted the bill passed, why would he be withdrawing it at the very point of its passage? Such a move exposes a glaring contradiction between his rhetoric and his actions. That's Daniel Akpaliok in Sandema. Now, mind you, Reverend Timfojo did a press conference today, and he said that the bill was watered down. I think the MPP is rather misleading Ghanaians concerning the LGBTQI bill. They could not pass in their time. Citi FM, please play the voice note of Majority Leader concerning the bill. How did that amount to watering down the bill? So that's a message from it said resets Ghana now. Citi FM, we love you. That's Christian Ameko from Boom. Okay. Thank you, Christian. This message says, I'm really confused about the minority. The bill is passed, and was it from Zilis Dwayne in London? Zilis has been sending us messages, one of the regular texters on Eyewitness News. Fred, what's the name of the next person who sent the message?
Akosokre Joseph.
Akosokre
Joseph. These people just don't respect Ghanaians. You had the opportunity when you were in government, but refused another government. Another government is doing what you didn't do. And that's one too, you are complaining. They did not allow the bill to be amended, but e-levy was allowed before passage, despite court hearings. So that's Joseph. And there's this one, it doesn't come with a name. It said, from day one, the two bills were never the same, as they were not sponsored by the same MPs. Why do you then expect same bill to be considered? Then Aka Paul Jr. for Ahafo Mim. Civil society organizations must rise up against the government for shortchanging us. Why did the NDC in opposition demand the passage of the bill in its raw state, knowing that it had some flaws?
Interesting. So a lot of people talking about this. In fact, Jones Hadboy in is also one of our regular texters, and he says these MPP guys are a bunch of, I can't use the word he's used, but he says it's a shame that now that it's got to them, they realize the NDC is going for the glory. They want to find a way to water down their shame. All the arguments lack basis. And more on that, I like the explanation given by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama on what happens whenever a bill is presented to him for assent. I'm confident that he would do the needful before signing it. That's Jacob Akazusa in Posiga. More messages coming through. Jonah Kata in Osino says, why wouldn't the minority go to court to stop the president from signing the bill just as the individuals did in the last parliament if they think there is a problem with the bill than making noise in the media? Well, that is Talk Back for you on Eyewitness News, where we're hearing your views, and that essentially summarizes the
discussion for today.
This edition of Eyewitness News. Thank you so much, Fred Tatejabana, for helping us with that. Fafa Melody Portufe, thank you so much. I was produced by Sami Wiafi, Beverly London, Kobina Wilson, and Nanatufo Boatin, of course, with Juliana Odami Asari helping us with production. Desmond Nyaku supported us on the technical side. Edwin Kofi and the new media team helped us with the online presence. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. Eyewitness News returns tomorrow at 1700 GMT or 5 p.m., not 5:30 p.m. Stay tuned in and we'll bring you relevant news. Be there as it happens.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.